Hello, welcome everyone to the Beacon of Light podcast. We are so happy that you're here tonight, and we have a two-time guest back. She has written another book, and so that's why she is back. And this particular book, the name is Robin's Gift. There it is. And so as we start talking to her, we are going to jump into this. I'm April Tribe Juke. Welcome to the Beacon of Light podcast. I believe we are all made with light, and light is hope. This podcast brings authors who write stories of hope to all of you. Your journey to be inspired and amplified by these stories starts now. And we're back. Thank you all for coming in and popping in here live tonight. We are thrilled that you are here. So welcome again, Crystal. And we are just so excited when authors continue to write more books, and then we welcome them back onto the show. So welcome. What an exciting time for you. So tell us a little bit about yourself first, and then we'll jump into this book.
Well, first, I want to thank you, April, for having me on again. I feel it is a great honor. Thank you. Okay, I, of course, I'm a writer and a blogger and active advocate against abuse. And in all the writing that I do, I weave in things to help people overcome abuse and find freedom from it, along with, of course, God. Because you can't do it without God, I don't believe. And when I'm not writing, I live up in the beautiful, beautiful, pristine northern UP of Michigan, and basically in the wilderness. And so we just love enjoying nature, and we have our little Westie we love playing with, and I love cooking healthy foods for us and quilting. I do love quilting and making quilts for my grandchildren. I have 11 now, and that's what keeps me busy.
Amazing. I'm going to jump on the quilting for just a second. It is piece by piece, layer by layer, and there's a plan to the pattern, but in the end, there's always some surprises. And like any good quilt, sometimes we have to unstitch what we stitched. We have to kind of figure it out again. And, what a great support for life. With your 11 grandkids, have any of them received one of your quilts?
Yes, many of them have. And when I do the quilting, I never am able to follow a pattern. I try and I end up just like with my writing. I can't, when I write a book, I can't line out, this is how the story goes. The process takes me through, and it's the same with quilting. And I agree with you. I probably undo, rip out, and restitch enough to have made 2 quilts by the time I'm done. And next, my daughter's wanting me to make a quilt for her and her husband for their bed. So I'm looking forward to when we can go through and pick out exactly the kind of materials and stuff for that. It'll be fun.
Amazing. I know we kind of went on a travel there with the quilting, but it is part of our life, right? And your new book, go ahead and show it up there. Robin's Gift. This is something that really is a journey for the character, a journey home, just like a prodigal son. And so share with us why or how this story came about for you.
Okay, this story, just like all my books, are fictionized versions of true life events I went through. And I had I was very, very lost. Growing up in a home of abuse, I did not know who God was. And I had a very dear best friend. She's in the the book is dedicated to Kathy. And something happened to her, and I don't want to say what because it'll give away stuff in the book. And anyway, that occurrence, in a sense, called me home. And in real life, it called me back on a path to my Lord. In the book, I have it, that plus other stuff, because you fictionize it.
Right. And I think that's what makes so much fiction really, really powerful. A few weeks ago, I was discussing this with another awesome author. She also has been on the show twice. And her book, Let's Write Fiction, is very similar. She says, if you like to become a writer, if you have experiences, pull from those experiences, and the story just really opens up. And where you've had these experiences, now you can put it into like the emotions, the feelings, possibly the event setting, I would guess, or maybe not. You can kind of switch that around, but really the emotional connection. Because why do we read fiction? So we can connect, right? There's something safe about knowing that it was a character. Mm-hmm. Sometimes in memoirs, because we know these real things that are probably challenging and awful happened, they're harder to read. But with fiction, it's like we will go through this whole journey with a character because it's safe. Yet we highly connect with the emotional connections or whatever is happening within the story. So with Robin's gift, is Robin like the actual animal, the bird we're talking about? Is this a symbol in your book, or is this just happens to be part of the title?
Robin is a fictioned version of Kathy, the best friend.
Nice. And that really becomes that gift when people can connect. And you might have experiences with Kathy. I don't know if it's spelled with a C or a K. So I'm like, Kathy?
Kathy. Kathy.
The connection with that for yourself, right? Because your perspective, you probably gleaned more than what she ever even knew she was giving. And I think that go ahead and speak to that.
Yes. She did not know what she was giving. Oh my gosh, how do I say this? I don't want to give away the book. She's a person who always loved me, always accepted me. She was my safe space where I would go to, to escape the horrors of my childhood home. And I moved away, and in time I started recognizing the truth of the horriblenesses and did everything I could to escape my past. And when you try to escape your past, sometimes you make the mistake like I did and you throw everything away, not realizing that in amongst the horribleness, there still are jewels. And I had to go through my journey to figure out those jewels. And one of those jewels was Kathy. And in finding that jewel of Kathy, the story ended up being created.
That's really what a gift to dedicate something like that to her in an influence that she was just being a good person, a friend. You were not a project, right? You weren't somebody who was assigned. You just came together. I would probably support with God's influence. And there is a heart to heart that's there. And I think that's really amazing to find and discover that when we try to escape from the past or change or go through this journey, we sometimes put it all outside or in the dump, when really we might have to go back and find those Kathys. Sorry, I didn't mean to throw that away. Come on back. And there are, I think, in those reflected moments when we're dealing with abuse and challenging things. This is probably a whole direction of why my book is titled Pinpoints of Light, because the overall darkness is always there, but there were points, right? There was pieces of hope. There were throughout, because it cannot be 24 hours a day for 36 years of your entire life without any hope. You don't survive that. And I know the darkness is dark and deep, and it is overwhelming and surrounding. But then there's those gems like Kathy, or I think all of us who've ever been in abusive situations know who they are and know that moment. And we will say their moments because the darkness didn't all go away. Those take multiple steps to do that. So within your book, Robin's Gift, you also talk about this journey, this prodigal son or prodigal daughter journey. How does the person within the book, the character, what is the main character's name?
Natalie.
Is it Natalie? Okay.
Yes.
So Natalie's journey, does she meet a variety of people, or does she have a lot of reflection that brings her to understanding of these gifts?
She has people in her life because she moves completely away from her home in a whole new area, trying to make a whole new life, a whole new start. But she doesn't realize you can't just run away and start over, because the past still follows you. The past is still who you are. You have to go through and do healings and do acceptance and because accept those parts as who you are to make yourself whole. And she right now, when she in her new home of trying to escape, she works in a nursing home, and she has a dear friend, mentor named Lucy, who gives her lots of guidance and support and helps lovingly push her on her way. And so when she gets the reconnection with Kathy, she has Lucy's support in moving forward and doing that.
And that is something that's what a beautiful way to bring a character, somebody, a friend, a support through her journey, which also connects with we are not alone on these journeys that we have. Even in a fictional book, this wasn't like, and I did this by myself, and I did that by myself, and I did that by myself. It's really interesting how much we need others. You don't need a ton, but we still have these connections that we need. We're built that way, for sure.
And I agree with you. In amidst all the horror that somebody may experience in their life, there are what you call the pinpoints of life, what I call the gems. It's the same thing. They are there. You just have to, sometimes dig through the muck and find them, because they are there.
They are. And that is the hope that allows us to put one more step in front of the other the next day, take more of the baby steps to make even a small plan, even if it is just hour by hour. So as your character, Natalie, experiences the challenges in her life, what is something that as you were writing, you discovered for Natalie?
It might be more through other characters, because I put into Natalie truths of stuff I went through, but also hopes of stuff I wish I happened. And then the in-between connections, the fictionizing things. But I also put in through other characters, like I probably learned the most through another character, Melanie, who is a friend. So this Natalie, Robin, and Melody were the three of them were tight during their school years. And when I was writing Melanie, as I was writing her and the struggles that she went through, that's probably more when I started doing the discoveries of why somebody may act this way and what will cause somebody to do this and what maybe they're running for when they act a different way, kind of thing. And so I probably got more insight with her character.
Isn't that fascinating? Where you're, and this is part of what speaks to what you said earlier, is that in writing, you have ideas and you get started, and then it's like Melanie kind of held your hand and said, we're going to find out all of this. And you're like, okay. It's such an interesting thing to write fiction, because they are their own persona. Okay, don't go too woo-woo on me here, but it is interesting because we need to have it needs to be real and honest, especially when we're making friendships within a book that's fictional, right? If you have friends that are always the hero, that are never making mistakes, it's not believable. It's a whole different genre. So you want those friends, and it seems like with Melody, she's discovering things. And I loved how you were really honest with that, saying that I've discovered more with her, and the things that you wished for or what could have happened to you as a small child. That's really powerful to put those in a space where, for your book and the character and the people reading it, they probably had similar thoughts, and then here comes this character and it's like, okay, good, she's gonna be okay, or oh no, or whatever it is, right? And that's what's so fun as a writer. This whole canvas of paper becomes how you can paint the scenes, the image, and as our words create and paint the scenes within our mind, we have an opportunity then from our mind to connect in with our heart, and then through dialogue. So I'm going to speak about that for a minute. How is it for you as writing dialogue? Is that something that you feel is a good direction into a character's soul?
Oh, easily. I do a lot of the dialogue in there, and I do a lot of the internal thinkings on it, and so they do find out what is really going on inside of them.
It's really important because the reader can guess, but when they see some of those pieces come out, it's confirming, and that's really a great direction that keeps us turning the page to know, well, what's going to happen next. So with your book, tell us when it's going to be ready for us to get. Where can we get it at, and all of those things?
It actually is already on Amazon.com. The big boom day to try it for sales is the 27th of March. No, yeah, 27th of March. But I believe you can still purchase it now. Yeah, so it's available.
It's ready to roll. And so we hope you guys go ahead and grab this copy of the book, because once you purchase it, leave a review. As authors, it is super important, because my goodness, we don't buy anything without a review anymore. We're like, well, what is it? What do they have to say about that? What do they have to say about that? And so please leave a review for Crystal, because that is so important. To go back to understanding this Robin's gift, I notice on the front cover, how did you select that picture or image?
Okay, this picture was taken by a very good friend of mine, Deborah Lawrence, who is a professional photographer. And she read the book years ago in its first real rough draft. And together we decided the picture. The necklace here is a key part of the story that goes through the entire book and connects the three pearls, connecting the three girls, Natalie, Melanie, and Robin. And the robin in the tree with the gravestone in the back is a scene from the very end of the book.
It's amazing to get it all set up like that and have a photographer like explain, like you're sharing your idea with them, and now they've got to put the visual together. What a
Deborah is
challenge.
amazing. And in the book, it says exactly, gives her total credit to it and for her photography website. She is absolutely amazing. And I'm hoping she'll do the rest of my book covers.
So there you guys go. If any fictional writers out there who need some of these types of images, contact Crystal. She and her friend can maybe help you out with that. There's a big deal about book covers, titles, these kinds of things, because we need to draw our readers in. And if you were to just tell a short hook about this book, what is it that you would say for somebody to say, wow, I want to read that?
Lost and Alone. Natalie. Shoot. I wish I had that pulled up because I have the hook on paper.
That's totally fine. Go ahead and grab what you need to do. There is a piece of really thinking about being that lost, being alone. There is a hope, there's a want, there's a desire. Can I find something again? Is this aloneness going to last forever? And I bet through the journey, you suddenly start to see, oh, I was never alone. And if you are feeling that way out there as you're listening to this podcast, please know that you are not alone. There are many of us with this, I always call it kind of a silent sisterhood, or that we know, we understand. There are books, there are supports, there are stories that can help all of you out there. So if you are stuck or feeling alone, feeling like I need help, I don't know where to start, books like this can give you that peace. And where it's a fictional book, if you are still within abusive situations or what have you, reading something like that and other people watching you read it, it doesn't tip them off. It's just, oh, it's a fictional book, no big deal. And then as they go through it, their connections and maybe strength can happen. And that's really a powerful moment. Tell me about you. You mentioned that your photographer, she read the rough draft of this. What did she express to you after reading it?
She was very impressed with the story. She thought it was a beautiful story. I got the tagline if you want me to say it.
Sure.
Okay. Lost and alone, Natalie's biggest dream is a desire to be loved. Then a tragic accident calls her home. Can she return and face her greatest fears? And another tag I use from that is God is your beauty mark.
Wow. Wonderfully said. And I'm excited to see how this really impacts more readers out there. The concept, the idea of how fiction really change and influence our lives is real. So, Crystal, what would you like to say to everyone tonight before we close it up?
Every single one of us go through good times and bad times. And if it feels like the bad times are overshadowing your good times, keep your heart open and search for those diamonds, because those jewels, they are there. And by holding on to those jewels, that will get you through the bad times, and that will give you the strength and the joy that you need in life.
Well said. And you are living proof of this. I am living proof of this. So look, guys, living, tangible. We're not fiction. It can happen.
And that's why we're here, because we are living proof of it. And we want to, because we made it through, we want to help other people also make it through.
Very, very true. Amen to that. Thank you all for coming here tonight and being a part of the Beacon of Light podcast. Thank you for your work, Crystal, in sharing hope and light to other people. And we hope you go out there, grab it off of Amazon, Robin's gift and think about how being lost and alone is not forever. You can find a way back. And even though it might be scary, we're not saying that it's fear-free, but
And it is
there
a
is a
lot of
point.
work.
It is a lot of work.
You have
so
to be
true.
willing to work.
And with that work, it's not because it's all on you. You're yoked with someone who's working with you. And believe me, his power is bigger than what you can ever do. But you do have to move a little, and he'll carry you through. So thank you so much, and I wish you all to go ahead and read this. Find Natalie, the character's journey in her return home, and how God plays a part in all of this foundationally. Go out there to Amazon, grab Robin's gift. Crystal Huntley is the author, and again, thank you so much for being a part of our program tonight. And we wish you all to return again next week. We will have a great author again, sharing out more hope and light. Thank you all, and we'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.